This is Creative Smack. You dig? Hey, you guys, welcome back to Creative Smack Podcast. And today, Chuck and I are talking about this is 2, right? Episode 2?
We have 0, 1, and 2.
This is 2. We're going to lose count really quick.
2.
Oh, man. So let me punch Chuck into the vid, get you guys looking at both of us. And we want to talk to you guys about the Mardi Gras we just had, basically.
That's right.
Oh, man. Chuck Stir, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. It is a rainy Tuesday in New Orleans.
Yes, it's cold.
It's cold. And, man, look, I feel like the temperature for the past 2 or 3 weeks has been just such a roller coaster. It's been great. It's been bad. Everything in between.
Oh, man. I wasn't expecting this temperature drop, honestly. No. I'm afraid I'm embarrassed to talk about our dislike of the cold weather, since we have friends of ours up north that are dealing with way, way worse than we are. But low 50s is enough for us.
Man, it's just, always if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes and it changes again.
Yeah. Well, like in a couple of days, it's supposed to warm up again. So that's how everybody gets sick.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Go to bed with the heater on, wake up sweating because it's hot the next day.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So how was your Mardi Gras, man? I mean, I know we didn't have any parades. We didn't have a physical city in the streets kind of Mardi Gras, but did you uphold any of our traditions?
The only tradition that I upheld is the one I've never done before, which was to get on a plane and go to Disney World.
That's right.
Which is a lot. It's a tradition that most people, not most, but a lot of people decide. Like, my kids are off of school. It's nice weather. It's not the August heat of Florida, and we're going to take the group and go to Disney World. And I will tell you that the amount of Saints and LSU gear walking around the Magic Kingdom, it was spectacular. I mean, I got a Who Dat and a Go Tigers every 5 minutes.
Isn't it awesome?
It's great.
It really is.
It's great. But as far as the Mardi Gras traditions go, man, unfortunately this year it felt like the whole previous 2020 of are we in Mardi Gras? Is this actually going on? Like, what? Like,
it definitely was not real.
Right. It was definitely a moment where you had to definitely check yourself and say, well, king cake's available, and I know what I would have been doing normally. But
absolutely.
Yeah. What about you? What did you do?
We went to my wife's brother's house. David, he was getting some food for us, and it was just going to be a hang kind of day, and played some card games and had a few spirits, a few drinks.
Good.
Do what you would normally do on Mardi Gras Day, just without all the actual parade fun. But we had a Popeyes fried chicken incident that you were at Disney, so you were not aware of this incident.
Look, man, if ever there was a year to miss Mardi Gras, I think the good Lord gave it right to us, because I can't imagine. So for all those people that might not know, the major snowstorm that blew through Texas also affected South Louisiana. And it would have started, George, tell me if I'm wrong, I think it would have started right around Endymion Saturday with like that first really dropping cold temperatures.
It dropped.
It dropped bad.
It was so cold. It wasn't fun at all. Even bundled up, gloves, 2 jackets, a sweater, thermals.
No,
it's not our thing here in New Orleans. But if there was ever a Mardi Gras to bypass, this was the year.
So by Tuesday, the day I left on Mardi Gras Day, so by Tuesday, it is literally ice on the ground at the airport. Like I really couldn't get over it. How bad it got down here. And then by the time I left Wednesday and Thursday, it progressively got worse. So, from what I understand, though, the Popeyes scenario is that multiple deliveries couldn't be made across the city, and there was a shortage of Popeyes.
It was odd because I literally woke up that morning knowing David was getting Popeyes chicken, and David likes to always do more than he needs to. So I knew it was going to be a lot of Popeyes chicken and biscuits and all that good stuff, and paid for it online the night before. Went that morning to go pick it up, and there's nobody there. It called other stores. Some of those trucks, due to the snow up north, chicken was not even delivered, and a handful of places had broken pipes from the freeze.
That's right.
So it was the weirdest thing in the world. So I honestly couldn't even tell you. I haven't spoken to David since. I couldn't tell you if he got his money refunded. I'm assuming he did. But we went and did Cane's, which is still very good fried chicken.
It's great fried chicken, but it's like,
it's not
to
tradition.
You need the Popeyes.
you need to feel guilty for that beautiful grease. And
you got to wake up Ash Wednesday and say, it is time to fast.
That's why you need it so badly, because the next day you're like, oh, I got to do this for 40 days. I got to give stuff.
You got to agree. You feel bad for at least 3 days. So starts off not so bad. It's like, I can't do anything anyway.
Yeah, the first week of Lent, you're thankful every morning that you decided to not ingest. But it's so good, man. It tastes so good. Al Copeland, the owner, talk about a New Orleans native that was a rock star while he was around. But man, you can't not have Popeye's chicken on Mardi Gras Day.
It goes hand in hand for sure, man. So combining the bad weather with the shortage of Popeyes, no parades, and the current climate of everything, it's like, man, I would hate to think that we missed one, but that was the one to miss. Does that make any sense?
It all made sense. The weather was like, okay, all right, we don't need to be out in this weather.
No.
But
darn
it, we're gonna keep Mardi Gras strong. We're gonna make our houses on St. Charles Avenue look like floats, and we're gonna keep the spirit of Mardi Gras alive. And doggone it, man, Mardi Gras Day, we're gonna have our fried chicken.
Right.
Continue. And that part didn't happen. So the drinks didn't taste as good as it could have.
The grease didn't line the stomach.
That is too funny. Oh my gosh. So tell me, how was your Disney experience? We haven't been in 4 to 6 years now, which is not like us. So I don't know what you went through. I hear stories of, oh, it's great, just be bearable. And I got some people of, it's not Disney 100%, but it's still awesome. Your thoughts?
Right. So we got there on Mardi Gras Day, and I had a wonderful time. We're a Disney family, and we love going to we love just going to see all the new additions of what they do in the parks. I'm a big fan of just Disney in general, in the way that they execute entertainment business, in all of their activities. I'm a big fan of the Disney Institute, where they teach the highest levels of customer service. It absolutely is a continual inspiration for me to go and see how these folks execute, especially over COVID. So I was very interested to see what they were going to do. My Disney experience pretty much was positive. I do think that there's a lot of things that as an adult I like to partake in that the options weren't there. For instance, it's like I love to use the minivan service, which is basically a Disney Uber, where they pick you up from the hotels and they bring you right to the park. There were definitely, I love Trader Sam's in the Polynesian. Polynesian is basically closed. Trader Sam's is closed because it's a small little room. The buses were assigned seats. No fireworks, no shows, no that. It was pretty much You got up, you went into the park, you did the rides, and at the end of the day, if the park is closed by 6 o'clock, the only thing you could do is go out to Disney Springs, which Disney Springs is popping. So I mean, you could do that. But in the sake of our conversation, man, the thing I bring back to the podcast and to our listeners is that Florida is open.
I heard.
Business-wise, they're wide open. I watched several groups performing in Disney Springs. And regardless of anyone's personal thoughts on it, I'm not seeing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not seeing super surges of problems coming out of the Orlando area. And I'm telling you that the park is supposed to be at 30%. I'm telling you that I think it was more likely at 60%, and the whole property was probably at 30%.
Wow.
So that's something for me to take away, saying, okay, we're not even close to what those numbers are. These guys are having some kind of success mitigating the problem. Now, the other thing too, and something that I wanted to bring up is that everyone had a mask on. Disney employees are walking around saying, sir, you're wearing your mask wrong. Put it up here. Social distancing pretty much is maintained when you get onto a ride.
Sure.
Ride lines are miles long. That move.
Literally,
They move quick, but it's the line for Peter Pan comes out the building of Peter Pan, goes around the block, goes into the next building, up the stairs, down the stairs, and around the corner, because it's like a mile long line, but it moves, right? Because you just have to distance.
Wow. Yeah, you were telling me what was it? Which ride was it? It was Peter Pan, and the social distancing line spaced out, went over the hump into where? Not Tomorrowland.
It was the Haunted Mansion was out of the Haunted Mansion, past the steamboat, into Frontierland, almost to like Splash Mountain.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. But the takeaway is that they're doing really good things, and they are executing on a very high level to mitigate the problems of COVID. And you got to take that back to your own business and say, there is a way to do this properly.
Right. Man, look, that's something I have been screaming to the rooftops in my own building, because I know everybody has a different experience with this. And, here's the whole disclaimer to the whole thing. We acknowledge that it's a horrible, horrible virus disease. It killed many. We get all that. It's just the city went on lockdown, so the overflow of the hospitals would calm down. We would get a grip, and then slowly kind of go back to somewhat normal. And everything has happened. We all did our part, except for the slowly going back to normal. Or maybe their version of slowly was different than mine and yours.
Right.
It's I think this is the most hygienic all of us have been in a very long time.
Well, they said the flu doesn't exist right now.
The flu's dead. COVID killed
dead.
There is no flu, man.
Video killed the radio star.
It's the same thing. And without even going into the whole political, there's money involved. Like, before you even do any of that, let's just talk basic science. There was a new release that just went out that you sent me, actually, and long story short, it was basically saying for bands that, hey, y'all can play, you got to be 6 feet apart, you got to be respectful, blah blah blah. But the last sentence was like, no singers and no blowing of any horns whatsoever.
Right.
That part just kind of blew me away, and I had to go do a video about it, because I've been screaming since day one.
Right.
The sound comes out of the bell of the horn, not your spit.
Science.
I don't get it. So there's just a lot of science that has been kind of put aside, where I get it. If you're dealing with a ton of people and you don't know how to parent them, quote unquote, you kind of have to do the most, the least common denominator, I guess, and just blanket everybody the same and treat everybody the same like you would your own kids, I guess. But it's time to follow Florida. It's time to start moving forward. And I believe our governor is gonna release some more people into our event industry in the venues later on today.
We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. George, I think that the thing that that you and I have talked about at length, and the thing that we always wanted to broadcast, is that people, there are certain groups that are represented, and there are certain groups that have been forgotten. And whether, depending on what industry you're in, determines whether or not you had any sort of representation during this entire process. So while you and I are talking about the disease and the problems thereof of having COVID, I had COVID. It's definitely our desire is to make sure that safety is implemented and across all boards.
Absolutely.
The minute that any person passes away from this terrible disease, it's a tragic scenario. But the problem that you and I face as members of the event industry, it's not the disease. It's that we're not represented at all by any member of government in Baton Rouge, in Washington. It's what I call a forgotten industry. So in the sake of following Florida, where Louisiana should parody or should model themselves after Florida, is having the ability for an entertainment industry to come to the table and to recognize how much they bring to the state.
Absolutely.
And that alone is going on over there. It's not going on here. It's not going on in California. It's just that classic. You have to follow these rules. And for instance, like what we did was we created a whole model program on how to have safe live music. And we brought it to the state legislature. State legislature loves it. Governor has no interest in it. This is both legally approved, medically approved, all of these things, and we can't get anyone in the governor's office to even look at it. And that's the problem. It's not so much the virus; it's that we're not being spoken to or even communicated with in any fashion.
That is the biggest problem whatsoever. I mean, it doesn't make any sense that, like, you and I had lunch the other day, and we're at a restaurant. You can wear your mask to walk inside. When you sit down, you're fine. Take it off. Now, the people serving you, they have their mask on, and that's fine. But it doesn't make any sense because from table to table, these are all strangers to each other. It's not like a wedding where it's your family and close friends. So I've always been very upset that the logic had no logic. And if you're going to start throwing out, non-scientific facts like blowing a horn or how somebody's singing, which, by the way, the little release said patrons, meaning you and me going to see a band, you can't cheer, you can't yell, and
no singing along.
You can't dance.
Don't you sing?
Sing along. So how those things are thrown in there like some fifth grader had an idea when they wrote this sentence. That's what it feels like. And it's a shame because you're right. We completely respect this virus. And
completely
it just blows me away to see how many of us have actually gotten together like you've done the work to present, and we've all had jobs to do on smaller levels. So we started implementing safe ways of how can we work. The numbers will come later. The problem is they're not coming. Maybe Governor today will call me a liar. Maybe he'll pull the ripcord a little bit more. We shall see.
I think the only thing that we're aggravated with and what we want is just a seat at the table to talk. And the thing that, I'll tell you this, the thing that needed to go away after the first initial bump of COVID was this essential services thing. We are still operating here under the thought that X business is essential, Y business is not. Hey, man, a year later, everyone's business is essential.
Thank you.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we're still operating under that. Hey,
True.
You want to talk to us or not?
No. I mean, look, man, even if they thought they would call our bluff and say, hey, you can play, but you need a clear plastic shower curtain between you and the people watching you, you guys would have found the clearest shower curtain you could have found. Just you can get in front of people and get people in there, spend money again, have a life again.
Right.
You know, but
well, you think of the Blues Brothers playing behind the chicken wire, you know, you could have a big old thing where people could toss the beer bottles at you.
Why not? And yeah, so I am truly looking forward to when do we make a year? We make a year next week?
Well, man, on my clock, I think everyone's different. My clock was the last show that we had played was the Friday the 13th, which I just think is 13th. I just think that's the best way to think about it.
Yeah,
we had played on Friday, March 13th at Rock and Roll. We were supposed to play the next night at the Italian American Ball, and that was the first cancellation. And it wasn't canceled until that morning. So
that's, yeah, this conversation can seriously go down a rabbit hole easily. I enjoy this podcast because I want to bring some light, shed some light to people, give people some positive energy that, hey, it's coming, we're all working hard. We really are. But sometimes we just need to take the news for what it is and deal with it. I just feel so bad for friends like you and a couple of hundred other people that their lives literally rely on playing music and working events, which for people who don't understand what we mean by events, it's from something like a wedding or a commercial gig at the convention center where Microsoft comes in town for a 4-day seminar with 2,000 people that they bring. All the commercial jobs are absolutely gone right now, and then our poor brides are rescheduling once or twice. It's really a huge wrench in the system. On that part, we're definitely not getting any assistance or help. Nothing for that. So we're all just I feel like we're all cats thrown into a tub, and we're just clawing and scratching to get out as fast as we can.
We're definitely in New Orleans a tourism-based economy. And I mean, my numbers from 2019 showed that over 45% of my work was from out-of-town clientele. So
that's a lot.
It's a lot. Whether it's, like you said, Microsoft coming in, Mitsubishi Motors coming in from Japan, or it's a bride who lives in New Jersey and the soon-to-be husband lives in Miami, and they went to Tulane together, and they're coming back in town for their wedding. So, I mean, it's like we are a tourism-based economy, and we're just praying that the leadership comes back to reinstitute that here in New Orleans. I'm waiting to see what some of these folks do, and we're continued to wait, and I'll leave it at that, trying to be polite about it.
Yeah, that's can you see the blood from me biting my tongue?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But like you said, we're here to offer positive and be the light to the world.
Yeah.
And man, I think the end is right. I think we're looking at the light at the end of the tunnel. I think we're right there. I think we need to keep going. These vaccinations seem to be working. These numbers are coming down. I think by the start of the summer, we're going to have a totally different scenario than where we are now. And I think this is happening all over the country. So point being,
good.
If you're not investing in the stock market, into travel stocks or tech stocks, get in now, because it's coming. It's time to boom.
Oh,
Boeing, getting the Boeing.
I am ready. I am absolutely ready. So look, I know you have an appointment to run to soon. I'm so glad we got this one in. Man. There's like 4 or 5 more we have to bring you guys, and we meant to record them today, but You know, us creative people, man, our calendar changes once we wake up in the morning. I don't know what happens, but the calendar day before doesn't apply. Things change, you know.
We'll grab
Which
one
is
tomorrow, man. We'll get another one down.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, tell your lovely bride I said hello.
You do the same.
Oh my gosh! And anything you have coming up you want to tell the world? I mean, I know it's kind of hard to talk about a performing time, but do you have anything coming up?
Fingers crossed. We had a soul show, a 1960s soul show planned for a Rock and Bowl broadcast on the Rock and Bowl Facebook page this coming Saturday. Looks like we're going to move that to March the 26th. But if you follow me on anything, that'll be announced soon. Awesome. And then we have our St. Joseph's altar, which I don't know to what degree. We're going to do it virtually. It might be something you can come to. I'm not sure yet. So the next podcast, we'll talk about it and see what's going on there. And we raise all kind of money each year for the Ozanam Inn Homeless Shelter of New Orleans, as well as goods. Cool. And, you know, that is a great New Orleans tradition that we will talk about soon, I'm sure. What about you? What's going on with you coming up?
I am, what am I doing besides a little bit of everything? Besides this podcast, I'm still doing my YouTube content, still doing portraits for children and some clients of ours. Our weddings, we're booking some weddings, not many for this year. Some people are still kind of freaked out about the what ifs, so they're 2022 brides that are calling us. So, you know, I'm staying busy with that kind of thing. I have stuck to my 40 days vlogging challenge that I gave myself because of Lent.
It's awesome.
I'm so happy, man. I have not produced a video every day for this long. Tonight is number 13. I've never done that. And I keep telling people, so look, if you want to do something like this, it's not about how long the content is. It's just to get you holding yourself accountable for making it happen every day.
Right.
Because magically, if it's a real client, you and I both know we find a way. You know,
always
we figure it out. If they're paying us, we're like, I can make this work.
Sure.
Well, I knew in my heart that if I wanted to hold to my promises for Lent in general and a promise to my viewers and myself that, hey, I want to do this, I can't break it. I can't imagine the day I'm going to stop. Oh, that would just hurt my soul. So if I posted at 11:59 that night of whatever day may be very difficult, it's still on that day. So
still on the day. What's up for tonight, man? What you going to talk about?
I am actually getting ready to go do some lunch with a really good friend of mine, Mr. Rob Benson. He is my computer guy, as I say. He's my website dude. If you don't believe that angels are among us, you know, other human beings can do small things for other people when they really, really need it. You become an angel for that person. Well, Rob was an angel to Elizabeth and I years ago when we needed help with everything from Google to the website to placement, just that lack of knowledge we didn't have back then.
Right.
And he absolutely swooped in, and he's just one of those good guys that deserves the world, you know?
Great.
And, because of COVID and all, I haven't seen him in over a year. Easy. So today is the day. We're going to do lunch. Great,
man. Well, we'll go enjoy it. And we'll check back in tomorrow because we've got a whole bunch of topics that we came up with that we're gonna kind of expand upon, and we rock and roll.
Definitely. Hey, I like the new logo stings that you got. We're gonna start using them starting today.
Put them up. Yeah, absolutely. Those are gonna be fun and more on the way too. So that's
very cool.
It'll be a continually evolving process.
Absolutely. And I am constantly getting texts from local other creative people in different parts of different industries that are excited to be on our show. So
let's do it.
Cool, man. Well, look, you have a fantastic day. To all of our listeners and viewers out there, we do have more to come. Thanks for being here.
We'll see you soon.
All right, buddy. See you. Peace.